Hello people, welcome back to another episode about my ant colony. As you probably know, I usually upload one video per week, but I didn't do that last weekend, and that is because I have been sick and it is also Christmas here in Denmark, so it is the busiest month of the entire year. So I have not had the time or the energy to make a new one before now. That means I got a lot to show you because my ants have also been busy these last 14 days. They have started to hunt larger prey out here in their forest and they have made new constructions inside the nest. Let's have a look. Down here under the lid you see the top part of the nest, and down here we got the bottom where my ants is nesting. But these two sections is now separated from each other because of this wall here. My ants started building it 2 days ago, and when they started, I had no idea what they were building. I just noticed that my ants were collecting these small stones from their forest outside and carried them inside the nest one by one. Then she climbed up on top of the pile they already had made and found a perfect spot to place the small stone. And my ants continued doing that until the pile of stones reached all the way up to the glass. This was the finished result, a huge wall with only this little opening here in the top to get through. Let me turn on my flashlight on my camera so we are able to see it properly. So, what do you think? I think it looks amazing, and it is incredible what these small animals are capable of. But I also want to show you something else my ants have built in one of their chambers they are nesting in. But my ants doesn't like this bright light here, so I'm going to show it to you pretty quick. Ready? Look, do you see that hole there? Down in the soil, my ants had made tunnels for themselves to hide in as well. And my colony here has also grown larger in the last few days. New ants have been welcomed into the colony. As you can see, they welcome the young or newborn ants by licking on it all over its body. It is to stimulate the newborn ants' senses. And it works. Look here. Here she is 20 minutes later. She has just begun to move, so her coordination is still a bit slow. She just needs some more time, then she will get the hang of it. So, since she still had some problems with her coordinations, one of her sisters thought, maybe she needs some help to move. And then she just grabbed her legs with her jaws and started dragging her around. Oh my god, poor ant. But fortunately, these young ants are used to being dragged around until they are able to walk on their own. And it actually looked like my young ant here wanted to prove to the adult ants that she was capable of moving on her own. So she started to climb up on the side of the wall up to another young ant. So, with all these new mouths to feed, some of my ants ran out into the forest to look for something to eat. It seemed like she actually knew where to look, because not before long she had found the leaf with the sugar water droplets. She took a good look around the leaf to make sure that everything was safe. Then she stepped up onto the leaf and took a sip of one of the droplets. It tastes lovely. Is it the same we got up here? Let me try that. It tastes lovely as well. I'm going to drink that. Then she started to fill up her social stomach. It took her about 20 seconds to fill up her stomach, and then she started to run back to the others who were waiting in the nest. And on her way back, she laid down a pheromone trail so the others had a chance to find the food later. She was quick on her feet. She entered the nest and ran up the wall, through the hole, and straight down to the rooms where they were nesting. But before she had the chance to find one of the young ants, 3 of her siblings came running up to her and asked for food first. So she started to share the food with them. And oh my god, look at this. We are actually able to see the blue sugar water being transferred between them. I have never seen that before in my life. And now, when she had shared the food with 5 or 6 others of the ants, she had not a drop left for herself in her stomach. But it was not something to worry about actually, because she knew that some of the other ants soon would run out into the forest to collect some more food or sugar water, then to come back and share some of it with her. And she was right, because not long after, some of the other adult ants had also collected some of the sugar water, and one of them found one of the young ants, who got its first real meal since it emerged from its pupae. I just love watching these young ants eat because of the color they end up getting. Look at this. When they have been fed with this blue sugar water a couple of times, their stomach turns blue. Oh my god, it looks fantastic. Then I noticed something else out in the ants' forest, so I turned the camera to see what it was. What? It looked like a fly from my apartment had fallen into the floor inside my aunt's forest, and it was still moving a bit. One of my aunts immediately found it and tried to pick it up or drag it back to the nest, but she had some problems because of the fly's size. But instead of getting help, she knew she were able to lift it herself, so she used all her strength and picked up the fly. Now it was just to get home in a hurry to show the colony what she had caught. Then she entered the nest and tried to keep her balance, but the weight of the fly meant that she wasn't able to walk in a straight line. And then I thought, is she even able to get this big fly here through the little hole in the wall? It isn't a small fruit fly as my aunt is used to catch. But my little ant here, she seemed to know exactly how large a prey item there could fit through the hole, because as you can see, the fly slipped through almost without any problems. And I have no idea if the other ants were able to hear her, or maybe they just smelled the fly, because some of them immediately came running up to her to see what she had brought with her into the nest. They seemed excited, but also a bit angry and impatient. I think they said something like, "Hey, sis, is that thing there alive? Do you need any help?" But funny enough, instead of helping, the other ants just looked on, while the ant who caught the fly dragged it all the way back to the rooms where they were nesting all by herself. But then things changed, because most of my ants in the colony had heard about the fly now, and everyone wanted a part of the meal for themselves. So now what I was trying to say was, now the feast could begin, and try to see how eager my ants were. Even though many of them were filled up with sugar water already, they also wanted a bite of this fly here, as the fly were filled with meat, and meat is protein, and that is what my ants need to survive. And an old pupae also tastes good, apparently. 10 minutes later, my young ants didn't seem interested in the fly, but all of my adult ants were, and one of them to the left in the picture here had ripped off one of the fly's legs and were enjoying it in a very strange position. Look how she sits. And some of my other ants had ripped off one of the wings, and apparently that tastes nice as well. But the most important thing is, nothing seems to go to waste. When it had become night a few hours later, there wasn't much fly left, only some unrecognizable pieces, and I also didn't want to disturb my ants with this bright light, so therefore I'm going to quit right here. I hope you liked my video, and I hope to see you again. Have a wonderful Christmas.